the Hall of Fame committee and everybody who voted for me, and this is a privilege, and I don't take it lightly. Thank you very much. The biggest thanks of the evening, though, goes to Janae. Janae hates this. Janae absolutely hates this, but Janae works incredibly hard, and a lot of times her hard work goes overlooked out here, and I just want to make sure she gets the recognition she deserves tonight. Before I get into this, I really just want to address a couple things. I've been to a lot of these over the years, and after this is all done, everybody gets together and they congregate and they talk about the speeches. Oh, this guy went too long, this guy said this, somebody has a timer. I'm going to be up here as long as I damn well please, all right? I spent a lot of money on this outfit. You're going to look at it, all right? I want to apologize in advance. I might curse. My mom taught me how to curse. And so if you have a problem with that, take it up there. Okay. You know, I truly never thought that I would be here. Some guys are out here, it's like preordained that they're going to end up here. You know, at the moment that you see them, that they'll be here. And I never felt like that was me. There's a couple reasons why I didn't think I would actually stand up here. The first one is, I thought this was for old people. So this is tough. The main reason that I didn't think I'd be here tonight is that, as you'll hear, I've gotten the chance to be around the greatest people that this game has ever seen. And when you're around those type of people, you can feel less than. You can feel like that whatever it is that you're doing, it's never going to be enough because the people that you're around are great. But ironically, it's those very same people that got me to this point. And so, I'm going to recognize all them tonight. A couple quick thank yous before I really get into it. To some people at home. I've had a couple bowling centers in my life that have taken care of me from the time I was young. The Episcopos at Levittown Lanes. This is where I kind of started bowling. They let me bowl for free for a very long time. I owe a lot to them. And now to Rich and Kim and everybody at Bristol Pike, I owe a lot to them. I've had some great people that drilled a lot of bowling balls for me over the years, because God knows I'm not doing it. Will Jackson, Dennis Real, and now Glenn Mason and Ray Mann. I owe a lot to these people. They've taken care of me for a long time. And tonight really isn't, it's not about me. I don't need to stand up here and tell you all the accomplishments that I have. You can read that somewhere, I'm sure. So it is about all the people that made me grow as a person and as a player for the last 20 years. So I wanted to kickstart tonight with the person who started my career as a competitive bowler, and that's Tim Mack. If you know Tim, and you haven't heard this story before, you should probably go to the doctors and get your hearing checked, because he was told anybody who would listen for 20 some odd years that he sponsored me. So Tim approached me when I was 20 years old, and he told me he wanted to sponsor me. And he told me his goal wasn't for him to make money, but he wanted to make me as much money as I could so that I didn't need a sponsor. And to have someone of that stature believe in you and show that kind of belief in you, that gave me more confidence than I could ever give myself. And I owe a lot to Tim. I love you, man. Thank you. Shortly after that time, I went on tour, and I struggled for a few years, but with the help of my dad and Mark Baker, I had a breakout season. I made a lot of shows. I didn't win, but I was on TV a lot. And a man came along and changed my life, and that was Jeff Ussery. And Jeff was the brand manager at Hammer at the time, and he signed me to my first real contract in May of 2009. When I started out here, I wanted to be like Parker Bowen, Jason Couch. I wanted to be a guy who was synonymous with one brand. I thought that was the coolest thing that you could do. And Jeff gave me that. He gave me that opportunity. And I repaid that man by winning my first title with a ball we sold for $48. So, sorry, Jeff. But all these years later, 16 years now is with Hammer, and Bugsy Kelly is here tonight. He's allowed me to continue this journey. It's been an honor to be with Hammer for all these years. And being with Hammer as long as I have, I've gotten to work with some incredible ball refs. A couple of them are here tonight. First is Rob Gottschall. You don't have to clap for Rob. Rob's biggest accomplishment with Ebonite was cutting my contract 30% as soon as he got a whiff of power. I remember at the time thinking, he's doing such a great job of penny pinching for a company that was owned by a man with a 9-figure net worth, who also happened to be the uncle of my sister-in-law. And thank you, Rob. Thank you. Despite that, Rob, along with Sean Ryan, got me through a really tough time in my career and in my life. Got me back to winning again after a pretty long time. Thank you, Rob. Mike Wolf. When Brunswick bought Ebonite, they brought Mike on board as a ball rep, and at the time I was pretty skeptical of Mike. Not because of Mike himself, but because in my experience, former successful professionals suck as ball reps. But Mike has been invaluable for me for the last 5 years. He helped me navigate a tough transition from Ebonite to Brunswick, and he knows exactly what I need to hear every time. Things are going bad. He always gets me back on the right track. And I hope one day the rest of our staff gets to work with him as well. The next two guys I need to talk about, they came into my life around the same time, and they both mean a lot to me, and I want to talk about them together, and that's Chris Barnes and Tommy Jones. When I first came out here, I was pretty shy, really reticent. I kept to myself. I didn't really say much, and when you hang out with these guys, it's not an option. Basically what I'm saying is, whatever I say about you two tonight is your own fault. When I came out here, I learned pretty quickly there was only two types of really successful professionals. One is you had to have a world-class A game, or you had to be pretty good at everything. And I knew what path I needed to take pretty quickly, and my model for that was Chris. Chris taught me a lot through the years, through his words, through his actions on the lanes. Not all the actions. I never ripped my shirt down my belly button or threw my glasses from the foul line into the settee area, but sorry, Chris. But all the stuff that he did on the lanes he was my model. He was my idol. I looked at him, I said, this is the guy I gotta be. And I got to spend a lot of time around Chris, and my most fond memories of bowling with these guys was when we bowled for Team USA. And that's when I realized that there's no one way to go about the game mentally. There's a lot of different paths you can take, and how you approach the game. And both for Team USA, and Chris would come back from shots, and he would say things like, "Okay, on that shot, I moved 3/4 left, and I rotated 2 degrees less than I wanted to. I think that's why I 10." And I'd have to pretend like I was listening, and I'd have to go, "Oh yeah, fractions, Chris. Yes, thanks. That's super helpful." And then Tommy would come back from a shot, and he would go, "Hey, 2 more games, we're gonna get drunk in the hotel pool." So man, I can go about this game any way I want, I guess. I don't know. What Tommy taught me was how to be fearless. There isn't one person I would have throw a shot to strike to win than Tommy Jones. It doesn't work out for me as often as it did for Tommy in those moments, but he was my model, and for that. And every time I get up there, I think, what would Tommy Jones do? Not now, but you know what I'm saying. Tommy is also like the best friend that anybody can have. There's no lengths that he wouldn't go for his friends and for the families of his friends. Both these guys mean a lot to me, and they've done a lot for me in my career and in my life, and I love you both. Being out here a long time, you get to travel with some amazing people. First person I ever got to travel with was Mike Fagan. And truthfully, I didn't know if Mike was going to make it here tonight once I found out that Frontier and Spirit don't fly to Akron. Mike taught me how to be a professional. He taught me how to live life on the road. I watched Mike change his game so much over the years, and even though he was successful every time we would come out for a new season, he'd be doing something different than he did the year before. He was a great example for me on the lanes, and off the lanes, he showed me that there was no low a human being would be willing to go to try to save a dollar. When Mike retired, it was pretty tough for me. I was losing one of my best friends out here. I was also losing someone that was a tremendous player, a tremendous asset for me, somebody that I really looked up to. And I never thought I'd be lucky enough to travel with someone so talented. But then I started rooming with Jason Belmonte, so, sorry Mike. Now, I know what you're all thinking. Travel with Jason, that's gotta be real easy. Well, it's not. So, let me tell you about it. Being around Belmo, it's difficult. After a rough block, he'd come up to me and say something like, "Oh, hey babe, there's a guy here from GQ. He wants to do a 30-minute sit-down interview with you about me." So, man, can't wait. Can't wait, thanks. What is easy about being around Belmo is that I got to surround myself with true greats. I got to see what it looked like up close. Being around him never made me settle for being just good. I knew I had to be great. He pushed me a lot. He literally slapped me into being a great player.
You lost the bet.
Well, he's an incredible friend. Being around Belmo is hard, but being around Jason is easy. He's the first person to call me when something good happens in my life. And he's the first person to call me and text me to check on me when something bad happens. If anybody was wondering what type of person Jason is, he flew all the way from Australia just to attend my mom's funeral. Everyone in here should be so lucky to have a friend like Jason. Thanks. As important it is to have great people out here, it's more important to have a great support system at home. And I have like 30 people that came out tonight, from PJ's here, Sean, my in-laws, Dave and Carol, so many people. I love you all. You all mean a lot to me. Unfortunately, I don't have time to talk about every one of you. That's just this count as a thank you to all of you. But I do have to talk about my man Mike. That was more than I could ever hope for as a someone introduced me. That was that was incredible. What you have to understand about Mike is that he's a huge pain in the ass. He has an opinion on everything. He is simultaneously right and wrong at the same time. He's always right, but he's always wrong. And if you know anybody that's like that, you know they're exhausting to be around. But nobody in my life has had my back like Mike for as long as he has. So much so that when we were teenagers bowling a tournament in this very town, he tried to fight another kid with a dismantled club because he called me fat outside of a Cracker Barrel. When I was in college, my mom told me, you know you're never gonna have a friend like Mike. And I was young, I didn't understand what that meant, or why she would even say that, but 25 years later, couldn't be more clear, and that's why he was up here tonight. Oh, amen. My brother's here tonight. I can't look at him because I know he's crying. Most of you don't know this, but he was an incredible bowler when we were younger. Everybody said he was better than me. If he would have kept it up, he probably would be up here too. But he quit when we were in high school because, and I quote, "It's ruining my rep." He still fashions himself as a bowling expert, though. I'll lose some matches on TV, and I'll go home and he'll say, "How'd you lose that guy? He sucked." All right, sorry. But he's my best friend. I love him more than anything. We do everything together. I wouldn't trade our relationship for anything. He brought Caroline into my life. Gave me a beautiful niece, handsome nephew. I love you both very much, even when you yell at me. To my children, Gavin and Avery, I know I've been gone a lot of your lives. I missed a lot of games, a lot of birthdays, special moments, but you two mean the world to me. It kills me every time I have to say goodbye. But I do all this for you guys. I hope one day you can look back and you can be as proud of me as I am of you. Christy, nobody in this world doubts themselves as much as you. But I can say with 100% confidence that I wouldn't be here if you weren't in my life. Since the kids were born, you've been stronger than you know. I've never had to compete out here wondering if things are all right at home, because I knew they were. You were right next to me when I won my first title, and you'll be right next to me whenever I throw my last ball out here. I love you. The last two people I talk about, my mom and dad, they would have loved this night. For different reasons though. My dad, he loved all this. He loved bowling more than anything in this world. This validates everything that we did as a team. He also would have loved talking to everyone here. He would have, at the end, he would have been, Bill, I talked to Walter, right? I'm like, I didn't even talk to Walter. No, I didn't. Mika said this to me. Mika said this. I know. He also really loved talking to Stu Williams. And I just always assumed it was because it was like two Jedi Masters of conversation together in a duel to see who could get the next word in. My mom would have loved this night for a couple reasons. One, open bar. She loved an open bar. She would have also been shocked that the shy, pimple-faced, morbidly obese child she raised could stand up here and deliver a speech. Yeah, growing up, they parented me pretty differently. My dad would come to the youth events and he would watch every frame. He'd never missed a shot. Watch me from every angle. We'd get in the car, drive home, and we'd talk about everything that happened. My mom would take me to a tournament. She would pull up out front and she would say, "Listen, I'm going to the mall. And you better not miss this cut because I'm not trying to have driven multiple hours to take you to this tournament, and I'm gonna go to this mall down the street. So good luck." They cared about different things when it came to my bowling. My dad cared about the process. He cared about how it all got put together. He cared about the trophy at the end. And my mom only cared about one thing: money. When I was in college, I remember winning an event. And I went to school in Michigan, in Saginaw, and I was super excited. I was only like maybe 19 or 20 years old. And I call home and I'm talking to my dad. "Oh, Dad, I won this tournament with great players in Michigan. Tom Samoa was in and Brian Wildcheck," and I'm like pumped up. And we're on the phone for 15 minutes talking about every shot that I throw. And my mom gets on the phone and she goes, "Dad said you won a tournament." I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, how much you win?" I said, "Well, I think I made like $800. And she hung up the phone. And I called back and I said, "Why'd you hang up on me?" She says, "Who the hell cares about $800? Well, that was my mom. So in closing tonight, I just want to say one last thing to my mom and dad. If you can hear me somewhere. Dad, we did it, man. We reached the mountaintop of the game. It's all because of everything that you did for me all the time. We did it. And Mom, because of everything you did for me in my life, I just need you to know one thing. Fucking rich, Mom.